Good afternoon, it's Dave at All Things Important Reviews. Please smash the like button, please smash the subscribe button for more awesome watch content. I've got with me today two kind of entry-level, all-round, fully solid stainless steel they're kind of sports watches. I'm not going to say they're divers, although they're both marketed as divers. They don't actually use the term diving, but they are marketed as that on both Victorinox and Bulova's website. And they are 100-meter water resist, so make of that of what you will, whether you could dive with it. But they are both fantastic all-round watches, and this is a comparison. The Bulova Marine Star, the reference is the 98B334. This is a 43mm watch, 11.5mm thick, fully solid bracelet, 100-meter water resist in the two-tone, quartz, so super accurate, but it isn't automatic for those who want automatic, versus the Victorinox Maverick. Victorinox are a Swiss company. They make knives, cutlery and watches. They make army, military watches and military equipment. They are one of my favourite watch brands in the world after Casio. I love them. Obviously, I'm more of an affordable watch channel. I don't really buy watches that are super expensive. You will eventually see Omegas and a Rolex on the channel, but I don't earn enough money to buy them type of watches. But even if I did, I probably would never buy luxury watches because I think the prices are ridiculous, to be fair. That's why. So, but I do like, these types of watches. Now, the reference for the Victorinox is the Victorinox Maverick, which comes in loads of different colour combos. But the reference for this one is 241825, I believe. For some reason they have a slightly different reference number at Victorinox for each colour combination, even though they do this watch in like 10 different colours. It's a beautiful, beautiful watch. They are both absolutely beautiful watches. And I thought to compare them because they are both kind of all-round sports slash diving slash, military watches, really. They have great specs, but I'm going to show you what the differences are. And the Victorinox is around 499 RRP, whereas the Bulova's only 299. So the question is, where's that extra 200 quid coming in when they're both quartzes? And I'm going to explain where they are coming in. And it is worth, well, whether it's worth 200 quid more, I'm not sure, but it is that overall, I'm going to show you why the Victorinox is a superior watch slightly, but in some regards, the Bulova is superior. Bulova are an American watch brand that was made by, as I said in my previous video, a Bohemian, a Czech guy. I don't know if it was, well, I'm not an expert on European history, but in the 1875 he created Joseph Bulova watch company, J. Bulova, and he was an immigrant to the United States, and obviously that was then bought out 120 odd years later by Citizen, who now own Bulova, whereas Victorinox are a Swiss brand. They've been around for ages as well, loads of heritage, loads of watch expertise. And if you don't want to pay for the big bucks on the types of like Omega, Rolex, and some of the tags that are thousands of pounds, you can get really good value in buying these brands like Citizen, Hamilton, Bulova, Victorinox, and they make, like, I'm the most impressed one I've been most impressed with is Victorinox because the quality is brilliant. Now, let's start off with a comparison of the sizes because they're both marketed as a 43mm watch. However, there is slight differences in them, and hopefully I can remember off the top of my head what the size differences are because I've just measured them all. So, well, on the actual diameter of the bezels, the Bulova, the Marine Star, is only 42mm. That's why it looks smaller. And whereas the Victorinox is 43mm, the Maverick is 43mm. And the case is also only about 43mm. In fact, the case is actually a touch smaller than that, or it's bang on 43. Now, if you include the crown guard, it's more like 47mm and a bit. The crown is big and the crown guards are big on the Victorinox. On the Bulova, it's only 42. However, the case, if you measure there, like diagonally there, you do get 43mm. But and the lug to lug on the Bulova is like 50.8, whereas the lug to lug on the Maverick is only 49.7, 49.8. And the end-to-end link is about 50, but the end-to-end link I think is about 54, 55. And the end-to-end link on this one is also 54.5. So it's a strange one. They both feel very similar really on the wrist. I mean, I suppose overall they are very similar sizes. Now, thickness-wise, I should really compare that both sides. Thickness-wise, trying to get it to focus. Come on, focus. Okay, thickness-wise, they are both practically bang on 11.5, 11.6 mil. So they're both practically the same thickness. They both feel very good on the wrist. However, because I'm unable to get the perfect fit on the Bulova, whereas I can practically get the perfect fit on the Maverick because it has 3 micro adjusts and it has loads of quarter links or half links that I've took out. Actually, you can't see them because I've took them out, but there's one there, I think. Yeah, you can get a superior fit. So to me, the Maverick fits better because I can get a better fit. But because this disappointingly only has 2 micro adjust slots, which is unacceptable. And I forgot to tell you in the last video that there are pictures of this watch brand on the internet, of this watch model on the internet, with 3 micro adjusts. So it might just be a factory driven thing. Which batch you get, I don't know. So sizing wise, I'm going to give it a draw. But I would say that the Maverick is actually bigger because it's got a bigger overall diameter, it's got a bigger bezel, and it's got a bigger case because the crown guards go out, even though the lug to lug is actually smaller, but which does affect things massively in terms of the lug to lug is a big diameter. If you wore a watch that was perfectly 46mm in diameter and had no supporting case that went above that, that watch would feel tiny on most wrists, even though it's 46mm. That's because they underestimate how much the lug to lug affects things, and the end link to end link, it massively affects things, how it feels on the wrist, more so in many regards than the diameter. So anyway, I'm blagging on a bit, but size, the Victorinox is slightly bigger because of that, but they both nevertheless feel very similar on the wrist. So the Marine Star feels like a 42, the Maverick feels like a true 43, because it has a big supporting case, because it's a military watch ultimately. You know, they put them through these tests. It's not like the Inox. The Inox is another watch by Victorinox that has like been tested with a tank and all this other crap. And all this other stuff. Sorry. The Maverick won't have been put through all that, but it is nonetheless a military grade watch. Now, you've even got Swiss Army there on the dial. Now, so size wise, the Marine Stars are 42 in my opinion, and the Mavericks are 43. Let's talk about crystals, dials and bezels. Okay. Both dials are beautiful in my opinion, and are beautiful in their own way. The Bulova with this particular colour combination has a wonderful classiness, and the fact they've gone with a matte dial is brilliant. The matte is superb. The blue they've chosen on this, the navy blue, is gorgeous. It works perfectly with the gold and the silver, and it looks a better colour combination than this particular one I bought on the Maverick. But I have already reviewed it in all black, and it looks stunning in all black. But if I was going to get the Maverick, I would get it in the two-tone blue and gold like this, because that also looks absolutely beautiful. So the dials with the Marine Star is really good branding. You've got the Bulova logo, then you've got Marine Star in italics with the 100-meter water resist, and a nice handset, versus you've got a more busier dial on the Maverick, because you've got another sub dial, and you've got indices. I'm a fan of indices like that. I mean, now don't get me wrong, I like some watches to be minimal, and I think that is the probably the most minimal that I would get. Some people like to see dress watches that have hardly anything, they just have the buttons and that's it. I think they're a bit boring. I prefer something on the dial, and I think both watches do it excellently. The Victorinox at 12 o'clock have got their shield logo, the 9 and 3, with a 6 o'clock date window. I do prefer the date window generally to be at 3 o'clock personally, but I think I'm going to give it a draw on the dials. I mean, the Victorinox is busier, but I personally probably do prefer a busier dial. But because Bulova have done it so well, and they've chosen the colour of blue so well on that model, I have to give it, in my opinion, an equal score. So for dial presentation, I think they're equally as good as each other. If not, the Maverick probably wins, but the colour is obviously better, in my opinion, on the blue. But you could easily just buy the blue one in Victorinox, so it's not a fair comparison. But you've got more going on the Victorinox, as you can easily see. You've got loads more going on. Crystals. Now the winner on the crystal is the Victorinox, and the winner is because the Victorinox, I do believe, has a sapphire crystal, whereas on the Bulova this will probably be a hard lex or mineral crystal, which will scratch easier. Now I've had this watch over a year and I have not seen a single scratch on it, and I've wore it practically every weekend, so I'm fairly certain this is a sapphire crystal, because by now you would have seen a scratch or two on it, and I can't see a single thing. So crystals, winner, Victorinox, the Maverick. Bezels, nice grippy teethy feel, great bezel, also looks beautiful, has that gold beveled edge which is polished and smooth with, you know, a patterned outer ring. Beautiful, nice bezel. It is aluminium, but the price is why it probably is aluminium on the Marine Star. It's a cheaper watch by 200 quid, whereas this has a lacquer which is more like a sapphire ceramic bezel. This, again, I've had this over a year, banged it, done loads of stuff with it. I have scratched the bracelet, unfortunately, but if you wear any watch, any bracelet watch for any amount of time, I don't care who you are, unless they can in the future change the technology and make it so that stainless steel doesn't scratch the way it does, you are going to have scratches, I'm afraid. It's just a fact. But not on a sapphire or a ceramic or a lacquered bezel. Look at that. That bezel is still holding up near perfect. Now that feels very different. That, I can't really describe the difference in feel. I don't know how I would describe it. I mean, the Bulova one feels nicer to turn, basically. It feels more certain. That's the word I was going to use. The Marine Star feels more certain. But, yeah, so for the turn, for the actual mechanism of turning it, the Bulova wins. But for the actual material and presentation, probably the Maverick wins, because it's a more durable material. Right, so we've done dial, we've done bezel, we've done crystal, crowns. Now they're both, criticism of them, both. They're both not screw down. They are both, signed. They both feel like a normal non-screw down crown basically. They both feel very good. They both feel fine. I'm not going to get them out now whilst I'm on this video with you, but the Maverick's crown is fatter and bigger, obviously. I mean, they both have 100 meter water resist. I don't know if it's something to do with why Victorinox have chosen to put a bigger fat crown on it. I'm not 100% certain, but it definitely does have a bigger crown, possibly unnecessarily big, I don't know, with bigger crown guards. This is a much more modest crown presentation and size. I'll give the crown to, and the feels very good on the Bulova, I'll give the crown win to Bulova. Okay, case backs. Well, actually cases, let's go with cases. With cases, they both taper up, but the Bulova is again a less beefier watch. It has a more significant, curving up. They're both super comfortable nonetheless. The Bulova is polished on the outers, whereas the Victorinox is brushed. I probably prefer brushed, although it does make it look more blingier having it polished. So the case backs now, so they both feel very comfortable on the wrist, but I'll talk about comfort in a bit. Case backs, let's do the Bulova. Standard metal with some engravings. You've got the logo, Bulova, water resist, and the item reference. And again, on the Victorinox, very similar case back actually. Just stainless steel, no exhibition window, which is fine. You've got all the, some white markings on there that tell you about the water resist and the model number, the reference there. Yeah, can you just see it? 241825. I think I said that before correctly. So I'll give it a draw on the case backs. I like exhibition windows, but on a quartz, does it really matter? No. So let's talk about what I like talking about the most, which is the bracelet. Okay. So start off with the Bulova. The Bulova is fully solid stainless steel, solid end links. It is a H-link bracelet. I call them 2-link bracelets. Maybe that's wrong, but I do call them 2 links. You just got the H with the middle bit. It is a push pin, but it works perfectly fine. There's no screws. It's push pin. You can resize it in about 2 seconds. Super easy to resize and slot the pins back in. You've got the arrows that tell you where to go. With a deployant clasp, it is only pressed with the push buttons, but with only 2 micro adjusts. Not the best, but I've seen a lot worse. I don't know why they've only chosen 2 micro adjusts. That's a stupid decision. It should be minimum 3, ideally 4, 5. But the bracelet on the Bulova is super comfortable. Going from about 21.5 only down to 20 mil. I get 19.8 mil at the clasp. Again, on the Maverick, which I believe is a bigger watch because of the bigger diameter and the bigger bezel, it is a bigger watch, this watch. I get, again, about 21 and a bit mil at the end links, tapering down to, again, only 19 and a bit mil. So it's not got a significant taper, but for some reason, the taper feels more on the Maverick. And I don't know why that is. I think it's because the watch head is actually bigger overall. You feel like you're getting more of a taper, whereas on this one, the bracelet feels just a touch like it should taper more, in my opinion. I don't get the feeling of wanting the bracelet to taper more on the Maverick, but I do get it on the Bulova Marine Star. So this one has a 3-link bracelet. It does have more gaps in it. That's another thing to point out. The bracelet on the the bracelet on the Maverick has bigger gaps, but that could make it comfier. Now, H-Link, Victorinox use a H-Link bracelet on their Inox, which is their top military grade watch, which I've reviewed on the channel, and it is too heavy for me, even though it's a beautiful looking watch and it's a fantastic watch. It's just too heavy. It's probably about 220 grams. I don't know why they've chosen. I would class this as a 3-link oyster style band, but on the Victorinox, it is a pin system. There's no collars. You've got the arrows to where you put your pins in, and you've got a pressed clasp, but the scissor arms, you know, the swing arms, are heavy duty stainless steel. They're a lot thicker than the cheap stuff on the Bulova, but it's a 200 quid more expensive watch. And you have 3 micro adjusts, but you only have a friction clasp. So, and I hate friction clasp. That is one downside of this Victorinox. The clasp, it can be a bit of a pain to open because you've got to get your finger under there. But it's a good mechanism. Again, it should have push buttons. There is no question about it. It should have push buttons, and you get a dive extension. Am I losing the plot? You get a dive extension. You do. Dive extension works perfectly fine. Again, pressed metal. The dive extension I forgot to show you is also on the Bulova. Boom, open it up, works fine. You're getting about 15-20 extra, I think. 15 mil, something like that. Again, the mechanism worked fine. Push buttons should be an absolute necessity. I can't believe they've not put push buttons on this Bulova. On the Maverick. The Bulova does have push buttons. So the thing is, if this bracelet had push buttons, this would win it easily. The Maverick. From a looks perspective, I like the look of the H-Link. I think it looks interesting, and it's a little bit different than just a straight oyster style. You can see the quite big gaps there on the oyster style on the 3-link on the Maverick. You can see there's quite big gaps there, but it does probably improve the comfortness because you're having less metal. You've got more articulation. So for me, because the clasps have 3 micro adjusts, and because they have quarter links or half links, I don't know what you would class them as. They're not a half, they're less than a half. I believe that the comfier bracelet is the Maverick. But that could only be emanating from the fact that they've not put more micro adjusts on this clasp. If I could loosen this clasp a little bit without having to make it too loose, then this would be probably just as comfortable. So all Bulova have to do is put 2 more micro adjust slots on there, or give us some quarter links. Putting micro adjusts on will be easier. So because of that, the better bracelet and clasp. Yeah, the Maverick is thicker as well. The links are thicker. Now, I'm not saying that's better. The Maverick links are going to be about 3 mil thick, 3.2 mil. Whereas these are only going to be about 2.5, 2.8 mil, something like that. Mavericks are going closer to like 3.5 mil, which is going to affect comfort all day long. The Maverick is probably slightly heavier as well. So what you're getting, so overall bracelet wise, it's a close one, but I'm going to give it to the Maverick. Because the clasp is better. Even though I'd love the push button mechanism off this, I'd love that on here. So it's only a slight win for it, but basically overall, which one should you get? Well, I don't think the Maverick is worth 200 quid more than the Bulova. You know, the Bulova's 300 quid. I'm talking about RRPs here now. I'm not talking about deals. I'm talking about RRP. If this was 499 and this was 299. I'd probably just get the Bulova. But what you are getting, you're getting a better bezel material on the Maverick, because it's like a lacquered sapphire. You're getting a slightly heavier duty watch. And I just think, you know, I think that the presentation is still slightly better on the Maverick, but I wouldn't get it in this colour combo. I'd get it in black and gold or blue and gold. But I don't think it's worth another 200 quid more. But the good thing is you can get both watches in deals for around 250 quid and less, probably. And at that price, I'd get the Maverick. But I wouldn't hold my nose up at the Bulova. It is still a fantastic watch. And both these watches, if you're not bothered about the automatic, you just want an all-round quartz that you can go swimming, you can go diving with them, both 100-metre water resist, both got dive bezels, both look brilliant, both you could wear it with a suit, business suit, dress down with a t-shirt, polo shirt, shorts, whatever. You could do anything you want with both watches. They look fantastic. And for that, I think they're both brilliant, sub 500 quid all-round watches. I think they are brilliant, I do. And it's only a close win for the Maverick, but that's because it's 200 quid more that you're going to get a bit better spec. But they are both brilliant all-round watches. I just wish they did a more... See, the upgrade... They do, in the Marine Star range, they do a higher model, but it's 225 grams. It's a chronograph. It's bigger. It's 45mm. It's not going to be as comfy. And I'm going to review it, but it's probably not going to be for me. I wish they did an upgraded model of this that is the same overall specs. It just has a better clasp, you know, a better bezel with a sapphire, because the sapphire as well, I should say, you're getting the sapphire on the Maverick and you're getting the better bezel. And arguably a better overall presentation and bracelet. And you are. So that's where the 200 quid goes. Whether it's worth it, that will be up to you to decide. But you've got here two great watches. Oh, and the last thing I forgot to mention, I'm not going to show you, the loom is actually far superior on the Bulova. The loom is excellent on this thing. Everything is lit up. Whereas on this, only I think the pip, the shield, the hands are loomed. Whereas on this, everything is loomed. So loom is easy winner for the Bulova. Final comment on comfort. Because I can get a better fit on the Victorinox, I'm going to give it to Victorinox, but they're actually very, very, very similar comfort. And if you can get the perfect fit on both, probably the Bulova would be comfier, because it's going to be just that ever bit so slightly lighter, I believe. But yeah, because I can get the perfect fit on the Maverick, I'm giving it the Maverick. It's unacceptable to only put 2 micro adjust slots. I've rambled on a bit there too long, but I've done a decent comparison there, so you can make a decision as to which, what you can get for 500 quid or 300 quid. And clearly, we've got a really good contenders for the best sub 500 quid watches here, and it's a big market with loads to compete with. But I think these, because I like this style of watch where it looks dressy, but it can also go, it's also got diving and specs, basically. I like that type of thing. So yeah, it's been Dave. Thanks for checking my channel out. There's going to be loads more videos coming up. Have a great day.